looked at your life and thought, why do I keep doing this? And when you know better, you know the relationship isn't good for you. You know you need to stop procrastinating. You know you should save the money. You know you need to take better care of yourself, my friend. You know you need to stop settling. You know you need to finally go after the thing you've been talking about for years. So, why do you keep going back to the same behavior? You might think. Here's what I want you to understand today: knowing better doesn't automatically create doing better, because behavior isn't always being driven by what you consciously want, my friend. Sometimes your behavior is being driven by an identity you've consciously rehearsed for years. And today, I'm going to help you find the identity underneath one of your repeating patterns so you can stop fighting the behavior and start changing the loop that's creating it. So, welcome back, my friend. If you are new here, I'm so glad you're here today. This is where we don't just tell you to think positive, all right? We go underneath the behavior, we diagnose the pattern. We ask the question of what identity is producing this behavior. Because if you've been trying to change the same behavior over and over again, my friend, and nothing seems to stick, maybe the behavior isn't the real problem. The identity underneath it might be. And that's what we're going to diagnose today. All right? So, here's a possible frustrating question: why do I keep doing this? So, let's start here. There is a huge difference between I did something I regret and this is just who I am. The first one describes an action, the second one describes an identity. And that distinction matters because when you repeatedly tell yourself things like, I'm lazy, I always procrastinate, I have no discipline, I'm terrible with money, I'm bad at relationships, I never finish anything, I always mess things up, things never go right for me. Eventually, your brain doesn't just hear those statements as descriptions, my friend. It begins to organize your behavior around them. So now imagine someone who believes, I'm not disciplined. They decide they're going to wake up early. They do great for 3 days, maybe a week, maybe a month. Then they miss one morning, and instead of saying, I missed today, they say, see, this is why I can't stick to anything. That statement reinforces the identity, my friend. The identity creates another expectation. The expectation influences behavior. The behavior creates another result. And the result becomes more evidence, my friend. And that's the loop. So, I want to give you a simple formula. Write this down: trigger, story, emotion, behavior, result, identity. And let's break it down. Imagine someone wants to start a business. They sit down to work. Here's the trigger. They look at everything they need to do. And here's the story behind it: I don't know what I'm doing. So then that will lead to an emotion of overwhelm, my friend, and maybe raise fear, self doubt. So the behavior becomes they might scroll on social media, they clean the house, they answer unnecessary messages, they suddenly decide they need to reorganize the entire workspace. Anything except the thing they said they wanted to do. So the result of this turns out that the work doesn't get done. And the identity is I'm always procrastinating. And tomorrow, the same thing happens. That's an identity loop, my friend. The behavior is often protecting something. Sometimes what looks like procrastination is actually protection. What looks like people pleasing may actually be protection. What looks like perfectionism may actually be protection. What looks like staying small may actually be protection, my friend. Your behavior may be trying to protect you from something your identity has learned. For example, maybe you're not afraid of success. Maybe you're afraid of what success will require you to become: more visible, more responsible, more accountable, more vulnerable. Maybe you've learned if people notice me, they can criticize me. So you stay invisible. Maybe you've learned if I disappoint people, they'll leave me. So you people please. Maybe you've learned if I try and fail, I'll feel humiliated. So you never fully try. And now here's the question I want you to sit with today, my friend. What is your behavior protecting you from? Don't rush past that question, because that question could take you underneath the behavior. And let's talk about people pleasing, okay? Because people often say, I just need to stop being a people pleaser. But that's not deep enough. So let's diagnose it, okay? Someone asks you to do something you don't want to do. So the trigger might be someone is disappointed with you. And the story behind it might go, they're going to be upset with me. And that will spark of emotion of feeling probably guilt, anxiety, maybe fear. So with those emotions, the behavior might lead to you saying yes, even though you want to say no. So the result will lead to they are happy. You experience temporary relief, but later you feel resentment. You feel exhausted. You feel like nobody considers your needs. And identity, I'm the person who always puts everyone else's first. And because you reinforces that identity, my friend, the next request becomes even harder to refuse. Look at how powerful that is, my friend. You simply dealing with people pleasing problem. You're dealing with an identity loop. Fear, conflict, silence, temporary relief, resentment, self-abandonment, and then a reinforced identity. Now you can actually diagnose the pattern. And once you can diagnose it, my friend, you can interrupt it. All right? And that's the beautiful thing. That's when the cycle breaks. And this is the part I really want you to hear, my friend. You don't break an identity loop by waiting until you feel different. You break it by creating a different response. Let's use the people pleaser example again. The old response is, yes, I will do it. The new response might be, let me think about it and get back to you. That's it. You don't have to become this incredibly confident person overnight, my friend. You just created a pause, and that pause creates something incredible and powerful inside of you, which gives you the choice, because the old identity reacts automatically, but the emergent identity chooses intentionally. And that's the shift. So, I have 3 identity interrupt questions for you today. So here's something I want you to practice today. When you catch yourself repeating a pattern, stop and ask yourself 3 questions. What am I about to do? Don't judge it. Just identify it, my friend. I'm about to procrastinate. I'm about to say yes when I mean no. I'm about to spend money I don't have. I'm about to text someone I know I shouldn't. Just name it. And then here's question number two, my friend. What identity would this behavior reinforce? This is the powerful question. If I do this, who am I practicing becoming? I procrastinate again. I'm reinforcing, all right? I'm someone who doesn't follow through. If I say yes when I mean no, I'm reinforcing. My needs come last. If I had my work, I'm reinforcing. I'm not ready to be seen. You're no longer just looking at the action, my friend. You're looking at the identity that action is rehearsing. And question number three, what would the version of me I'm becoming do next? Not what would someone with unlimited confidence do? Just what would the version of me I'm becoming do next? Maybe it's sending an email. Maybe it's saying no. Maybe it's opening the laptop. Maybe it's taking a walk. Maybe it's making that phone call, my friend. Maybe it's finally applying for the thing. Maybe it's going to bed instead of scrolling. You don't have to transform your entire life today. You just need to make one identity aligned decision. That's it, my friend. Your identity is built through evidence. This is something I want you to remember. You don't simply think your way into a new identity. You begin collecting evidence for it. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, my friend, you're collecting evidence. Every time you speak up, that's evidence. Every time you follow through, that's evidence. Every time you do something uncomfortable because it's aligned with who you becoming, that's evidence. And eventually you stop saying, I'm trying to become disciplined. And you start thinking, I'm someone who follows through. That's a completely different internal conversation, my friend. So, here's your assignment for today. I want you to catch one identity loop, not 10, not 5, not your entire childhood, my friend. Just one. Write it down and ask yourself, what happened? What was the trigger? What did I tell myself? What was the story? What did I feel? What emotion showed up for me today? What did I do? What behavior followed? What result did I get? What happened afterward? And finally, I want you to really ask yourself this. What identity did I reinforce? Then write this, my friend. The identity I'm choosing to practice instead of, and then you finish the sentence. And here's the key. Don't choose something you don't believe yet. All right? Choose something you can practice every single day. Instead of, I'm the most confident person in the world, you could try something like, I'm becoming someone who trusts themselves. Instead of, I'm incredibly disciplined, try, I'm becoming someone who follows through. And here's another one. Instead of, I don't care what anyone thinks, try this, my friend. I'm becoming someone who can honor themselves even when someone disagrees. That's believable. That's actionable. And that's identity work, my friend. So I want to leave you with this today. If you stuck around this far, my friend, if you've been repeating the same behavior for years, please don't immediately turn that into something is wrong with me. Maybe nothing is wrong with you. Maybe you've simply been practicing the same identity for a very long time. And if an identity can be practiced, it can be interrupted. If it can be interrupted, it can be changed. And that's the beautiful part. And if it can be changed, you don't have to spend the rest of your life living from a version of yourself that you have already outgrown. You could choose again. One thought, one word, one decision, and one action at a time, my friend. If something clicked for you in this video today, I want you to comment. I see the loop in the comments, my friend. And if you feel comfortable, tell me what loop you recognize. Is it procrastination, people pleasing, self doubt, fear of being seen, self sabotage, settling, or something completely different? Because somebody reading your comment may realize I'm not the only one. And that's how we build this community, my friend. If you're ready to stop simply managing your symptoms and start understanding the identity underneath the pattern, subscribe. I'm so grateful for you all. We're going deeper. And remember, every thought, every word, and every decision and every action is either reinforcing your current identity or building on one you're becoming. So choose intentionally, break the loop, and become the beautiful person your future is waiting for. Bye.